if I used those all three as number one, then I can say my other two. So, which gets me 5 by default, really. But one of the other issues that are in Massachusetts is I think we need to look at certain government programs that are sucking us dry, and that there is no reason for it. Our labor agreements, where we have to pay because of the way we are working it as a government, and our agreements with the Pacheco law as well as the PLS, we are actually causing ourselves as taxpayers to pay way more than things cost. And I think that somewhere along the line, that rationale has to be a little more closely looked at. That we have to open it up to other businesses for bidding. We have to look at bidding as a process. Well, may the best person win, more than, even though you're a really bad deal for me, I'm still going to pay you way more than I can do the same thing with someone else for because of this PLA. That's ridiculous. That's money out the door that we are not, it's not even money that we have that's going out the door, it's money that we're borrowing to throw it out the door. That's where I think we need to look at the rationale, and we really have to cut back in places that make sense. I think pension reform is certainly an issue. And you know, I know there were some canvassers of mine that went out this past weekend. They were in Dunstable, and they said something about she's going to promote pension reform. And one of the men said, she's going to take my pension? And I don't mean to take people's pension by pension reform, but I do think that the public sector should never be worse off than the private sector, but on the same level as the private sector. And there are a few things that we could do to make that happen. For instance, the retirement age is 55. Some people are getting 2 pensions from the state, okay? We all know in the businesses that we work at, we can't just decide at 55, I'm going to get a full pension. Nor can we decide that the year before that, we are going to go and change our category by ourselves from one group to another group within the 4-tiered system. Same job, change the grouping, and I don't really even understand how this even works. But with that type of a system, people are making it so they can create a higher pension in the last year or so of their employment with the state just on choice. Like there's something like 80% of the people change their category within the last few years of their employment. I think people would love to do that in their jobs, but you really can't. Your job is what your job level is, and that's how it should actually work. I'm sorry, did you have a question on that, or? Oh, no. Oh, okay.
No, just some people in some places, they retire and then they come back as a contractor, like a private contractor, no, you have to add.
Right. But they're probably not drawing a second pension as a contractor anyway. But we do have, I know that the highest pensions were put out one day, I think, in the Boston Globe, and one of the highest pension receivers that struck my eye, who made about $240,000, I think it was, a year on a pension, was Dr. Arthur Pappas. And if the name sounds vaguely familiar to anyone, he was the doctor, he's the hand surgeon that always treated the Red Sox. And he is on he was on the faculty and staff at UMass Medical Center. Realistically speaking, if we, the taxpayers, didn't borrow money to pay him $240,000 a year, I think he was still going to be financially okay with a roof over his head. I think we need to have some sort of a responsible cap. And again, not saying you go worse than the private sector, but get more on par. One very easy way to get more on par is to change the system. Practically every business that I've ever seen has gone in the last years to a more of a 401k type of plan that really takes a lot of the risk away from the taxpayers, and it puts it into investment programs, which at the end of the day could actually work out more advantageously for public employees, but it won't be at the taxpayer's expense. So I think there are government programs that could be reformed, could be streamlined, and, I mean, there's enough duplicative agencies. If you kind of just merge some of them together, we would save billions in this state, and that's something that really should be looked at.